Hi, my name is Jay, and this is my Unit 4 screencast for ATM 101. My weather observations are for the week of January 26th through January 30th. Again, my weather station is located in the Badger Road area of North Pole, Alaska. And for this unit, I'm going to compare those of the National Weather Service, and my temperature readings were all done at 6:30 in the evening, and so I'm going to use the same time for the National Weather Service data. So here are my temperature readings for the week of the 26th through the 30th, and I have my highs and lows accompanied with my readings and the National Weather Service readings, and overall they were fairly accurate and consistent. So we'll start off with Monday the 26th. I observed a temperature at negative 35.7 degrees Fahrenheit. There was a very light cloud cover, I would say mid-level altostratus with light snowfall. It was a very minimal snowfall, but it was snowing at the time that I did my observations at 6:30. The wind was very light. I gave it a 1 on the Beaufort scale. The reading on the 26th was negative 29.2 degrees Fahrenheit, and the coldest was a bone-chilling negative 46.3 degrees Fahrenheit, which right here was the coldest day or coldest reading of the week. And then, as you can see, the National Weather Service station was fairly accurate with mine, actually almost identical. They came up with a negative 36 degrees Fahrenheit, so we were almost dead on accurate that day. Tuesday, January 27th, I observed the temperature at negative 29.3 degrees Fahrenheit. I again observed very light mid-level altostratus cloud cover with a great deal of ice fog on Tuesday. Very low visibility when you were driving around in North Pole. And one thing I want to note is with the ice fog in North Pole, when it does get cold, the negative 30s, the negative 40s, like we saw this week, I think a lot of the visibility issues and the fog issues that we have are due to some wood burning in people's homes. So I think that does have a bit of a factor for the ice or the fog in general in North Pole. The warmest temperature reading was negative 23.1 degrees Fahrenheit, and the coldest was negative 42.3 degrees Fahrenheit. The National Weather Service was a bit colder than what I had read, and they were sitting right at negative 35 degrees Fahrenheit right here. Now moving along to Wednesday, the 28th, I observed the temperature at negative 28.9 degrees Fahrenheit. I saw light mid-level altostratus clouds with another light snowfall on Wednesday. It was even a lighter snowfall than Monday. I would almost call Wednesday a dusting. There was really no measurable snowfall at all. It just was barely coming down for about 30 minutes. The warmest temperature reading for the 28th was negative 25.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and the coldest was negative 40.2 degrees Fahrenheit. The National Weather Service, again, was a little colder than my reading, and they came in at around negative 33 degrees Fahrenheit, about 5 degrees colder than my reading. Now on Thursday, on the 29th, I observed negative 31.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, ice fog was present. Very, very low visibility throughout the week or throughout the day. Driving to work in the morning, I remember how low the visibility was. And let's see, and then also the National Weather Service temperature recorded was colder than mine for the third day in a row. And the National Weather Service came in at negative 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, about 5 degrees colder than my reading. And then Friday, it did warm up quite a bit, and I observed a negative 18.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Fairly clear skies, at the time of my observations. The ice fog was still present, but not as thick, and the visibility was better for Friday. And the warmest temperature reading that I could get that day was negative 17.3 degrees Fahrenheit, almost the same temperature as my actual reading at 6:30. And the coldest was negative 40.6 degrees Fahrenheit, so a very wide range of temperatures for that day. It just shows how rapidly it can warm up in Fairbanks. And the National Weather Service was almost spot on with my reading at negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm going to apologize in advance. My pressure readings were pretty far off, and I really have no explanation. I may need to recalibrate the barometer, but my readings were almost, in some days, the complete opposite of where they should have been. So I do apologize for that. So I really have nothing to compare except for I was off basically every day except for Thursday, the 29th. I was fairly close. On Thursday I was within 10 millibars, but for the most part, as you can see, absolutely no consistency in the readings, and so I apologize for that, and hopefully my next pressure readings are much more spot on accurate. So here is the TV weather map for Monday, January 26th, my first day of observations. My weather station is right about here in the interior of Alaska, and there is fog being shown throughout the interior of Alaska, so that corresponds with some ice fog readings that I had. You can also see some cloud cover, light cloud, and we have 4 high pressure systems here at the top of the north of Alaska, Siberia, and the Yukon, and they're all between 1022 millibars and about 1030 millibars. There is a stationary low pressure system to the south that spans from the Aleutians upwards northeast to the Gulf of Alaska and up into Canada. It's a mixture of cold and warm fronts all throughout this low pressure system, and we have a cold front down here towards the Aleutians that is pushing to the south or southeast. Actually, 2 of them are pushing southeast, and we have 2 warm fronts that are both pushing northward from this low pressure system. And also in southeast Alaska, there's another low pressure system here with a cold front pushing up towards the northeastern area up to Canada, and then a warm front here pushing to the northwest. And for Tuesday, January 27th, we have 4 more high pressure systems. One right here in the Japan area, Siberia, Russia, northern Alaska, and into the Yukon and Canada. There is an occluded front down here in the waters of south of Alaska and the Pacific Ocean, and is powered by a low pressure system down here. This system is moving in a few directions. As you can see, it indicates north and northeast movements, and you can see that there is no cloud cover being shown in the interior, which is consistent with some options that we had for the week. And so as you can see, it's very clear skies. There's a low pressure system here in Canada that kind of spans to the northern part of southeast Alaska and up towards where about Haines is located, and you have 2 cold fronts that are pushing south here and about southwest, and then a couple of warm fronts that are pushing northward of Canada. So moving along to Wednesday on the 28th, we have 4 high pressure systems up here again, right around Japan, in between Russia and Alaska, and a couple of them in Canada. And We still have this occluded front in the Pacific Ocean, south of the Gulf of Alaska, powered by a low pressure system down here of about 989 millibars. And again, you can see it is moving in a few directions, showing that it's moving right here to the northwest, to the northeast as well. And map is showing a slight cloud cover over the interior where my weather station is located, which would be consistent with my observations of a mid-level altostratus cloud cover. And on Thursday, January 29th, there is a single high pressure system up here in northern Alaska and a low pressure system up here in Russia with a cold front that is pushing northeasterly and easterly towards Alaska. Also a low pressure system is down here towards southeast Alaska in the Pacific Ocean. There, right here on Ketchikan area, you can see there is precipitation and fog. This is very in this area where it gets the most rainfall in the entire state of Alaska. You see a warm front pushing up here towards the north, and again you can see that the interior has fog. And I was actually pretty surprised that the other days that didn't include this. I thought every day would include a fog mark on one of these maps, but as you can see, Thursday was the thickest day of my observations for fog. And Friday, January 30th, the final day of my observations, you can see 4 high pressure systems, one to the west coast of Alaska in the Bering Sea, and then you have one in the upper interior of Alaska, and then a couple in Canada, another low pressure system in southeast Alaska. And you can see that there are 2 fronts down here in southeast where you have a warm front pushing upwards north to Canada, and then a cold front going to the east, again into Canada. And you see some light cloud cover in the interior. The cloud cover gets much thicker as you go north into the state. Some precipitation up here in the north end of the state in Prudhoe Bay area. And this is the last day of my other observations on Friday, January 30th. And to just wrap up this screencast, I'm going to finish with the GOES images that we had, the satellite images, the visible, the infrared, and the water vapor. I think these were pretty consistent with what I had in my observations. It reflected the conditions that I observed for the most part. The only thing I was off on quite a bit that I mentioned earlier was the barometric pressure, which is why I haven't really commented too much on any of these maps about the pressure in my readings, as I really have nothing to compare because they were that far off. The slight cloud cover that we had throughout the week, I think, is shown in this image here. Actually, in all of these images, you can see mid-level, possible mid-level altostratus clouds, cloud covers in the interior, and it definitely looks like there was some clear days, but this day right here on these 4 maps is for Monday, which was a cloudy day for us. Also a light snowfall that I observed. So all in all, I think that these are well presented maps for what I saw on Monday the 26th, and that concludes my ATM 101 Unit 4 screencast.